Hello everyone, Nubkex here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. We're in a hotel room. Worst time to go away ever because, of course, Assassin's Creed, it is real, it is happening. I've got two different info decks to cover today. Stuff that came out yesterday, we'll cover that as well with the event dungeon and a new boss for that. And then this deck where we're going, well, it's some actual Assassin's Creed stuff. So let's dive in. Oh, confidential, yes. So yeah, the campaign for Assassin's Creed, it starts on the 8th of January, which is later this week, and then runs until the 8th of April. So it's a pretty long one, right? Gonna be, I think, pretty similar to the Turtles. There is something as well we're gonna see the free login champion here today, and there's something in his kit which is quite like the Turtles, where different assassins are teaming up together. So yeah, I think that's going to be the closest parallel, which is interesting because it was, I think, probably the most popular. It's been the campaign that people enjoyed the most, which is cool. Like the setting, nothing is true, everything is permitted, no matter where you are, which I always thought it was a stupid phrase from those games, honestly. But anyway, everything's permitted except being a Templar. That's not allowed. Can't have that. But yeah, EZIO Auditore, I can't remember how to say it. It's been a while. It's been a long time. Is the, he's the free loyalty guy. So simple enough, same as always. Log in for 7 days, you get the champion. Another 7 days, you get the 2-star soul. And then you will eventually, it takes another couple of weeks or so after that, you can get a 5-star soul for him. So that's just huge for any new player, right? Again, we've seen it actually quite a lot recently. Like we've just had Xenomorph and all the rest, but all the bonus stats from those souls are incredibly impactful. Getting Brimstone on a new account and how that helps you progress through all the not even all the early bosses, pretty much all the bosses in the game. Makes a massive impact. He is going to be a damage dealer, so souls for damage dealers are particularly impactful. But yeah, this actually goes a little bit longer. It does go all the way to the 7th of May, but you have to have started the EZIO chase by the 8th of April. And what's interesting about this as well to me is that this means we're not going to see a free login event for a champion from the new faction whenever that launches, right? This is basically locking out any free login stuff until April. The new faction's dropping in March, so we could see something for the new faction like in April. That could definitely happen, or in May, but it won't be there like on launch, a free login thing for a new faction champion. So yeah, let's take a look here. So he is a Sacred Order Legendary Spirit Attack. Again, I find this quite funny because we have a new faction coming in a couple of months, and we know it's Greco-Roman. EZIO is not Roman, but it's about as close as Roman as you're going to get in Raid Shadow Legends. And yeah, he's not in the new faction. He's in Sacred Order. So yeah, it's a bit weird. I'm very curious. I would guess Cassandra, who's the Greek one, might show up, or Alexios, so you could be male or female in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I wonder if they'll show up. And again, there's a Greco-Roman faction coming in, and they're literally Greek. I don't know. They probably won't be in it. We'll see. But that's a bit weird, right? If they'd waited 2 months, he could have been in the new faction. Oh, well. What did they say about him? They say EZIO Auditore is a great damage dealer and debuffer with a focus on PvP content. But he definitely has what it takes to help his team dealing with waves and bosses in PvE content as well. So he basically does everything, right? He will be a great addition to your roster. He has some nice tricks up his sleeve. Firstly, he can deal some nice damage not just with his pure hits, but with his poisons and bombs in his skill set. He doesn't require accuracy when under Veil or Perfect Veil, so it's much easier to place those debuffs, making it his secret weapon to strike the enemies. Ezio's passive skill provides him with a good chance to counterattack or block received damage, which will definitely come in handy, which sounds very like the Predator, actually, who's very recent. All right, and here we have his skills. Let's actually zoom in here and take a look. So yeah, Sacred Order, he looks cool. Sweet. All right, let's dive into this. So Eagle Dive is his A1. Attacks one enemy, 75, that goes to 100% chance of placing decreased defense for 2 turns. The debuff cannot be resisted if he's under Veil or Perfect Veil. It's so similar to Predator in that sense, but I think it fits the assassin thing really well. I wonder if most of them would probably have some sort of Veil interactions. It'd be weird, I guess, with an assassin team, like who would be the support? That's hard to imagine. You'd imagine most of them would just be pure damage. We'll find out. Da Vinci's Design. The A2, 4-turn that goes to a 3-turn cooldown. Attacks all enemies, 75 going to 100% chance of putting 2 poisons and poison sensitivity on all enemies. Cool. The debuffs cannot be resisted if he's under Veil or Perfect Veil. Instantly activates all poison debuffs on enemies under 4 or more. Ooh. So he can't easily activate that himself. Maybe if you gave him like a toxic set or a provoke set or stun set or something, but realistically it's, someone comes in, because I think he's going to be built as a nuker as well, so probably someone plays decreased defense or weaken beforehand, and then he places those and hits really hard and explodes them instantly. Seems like a very strong wave clear skill. If any enemies are under Stone Skin, has a 100% chance of placing 2 bomb debuffs that detonate after 2 turns on them instead. Oh, that's sick. The debuffs can't be resisted under Veil, Perfect Veil. If all enemies are under Stone Skin, decrease each bomb's debuff detonation countdown by 1 turn. If they're all under Stone Skin, then that's tricky, because we got obviously Mercurial gear set coming out now. And just, you need the entire team to be under it. So, good counter to Stone Skin, but they will get a turn unless they're all under Stone Skin, in which case there's a 1 turn and then they'll blow up as soon as they take their first turn. It's interesting. It's so strong. He's going to be massive for Siege, right? And it basically means in Siege, you can't run a full Stone Skin team. Simply enough. Well, I mean, you could, but you're going to be so vulnerable. They're going to be irresistible. 2 bombs on everyone. He could weak hit. That's the only thing. You could weak hit with him, unless you got a Death Dealer relic. But yeah, if you have even one person not in Stone Skin, like let's say I run a Star Sage Galathier, but he's in 4-piece, well, let's say he's just in 9-piece Supersonic with, what's that OP relic, the Stars of the Genang, right? Stars of the Genang, 9-piece Supersonic, Galathier. The bombs don't explode instantly, and then the Galathier just removes them all before they explode. You could combo him, though, with like Kraz or Nishak, another champion who can decrease bomb detonation pretty consistently. He's the same affinity as Kraz Spirit, but he's different from Nishak, so he would combo very well with Nishak. Okay, that's cool. There's a lot going on with the A2. It's very cool. Very, very cool. But yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit tricky. Like, I think he just cannot rely on that being a 1-turn bomb against Stone Skin. Like, it's just, will 4 enemies be under Stone Skin? You can scout that in Siege, but other than that, it's tricky. You can't guarantee it, really. Hidden Gun, 4 goes to a 3-turn cooldown, attacks 1 enemy, before attacking steals all buffs, can't be resisted if he's under Veil or Perfect Veil, ignores 35% defense as well as shield and strengthen. Alright, simple, really hard hitting, A3, single target nuke. Cool. Everything is permitted. The passive, whenever an enemy's HP drops below 25% after receiving damage from any assassin, they receive additional bonus damage proportional to this champion's attack. The bonus damage will ignore 100% of their defense and cannot be critical. Quite an interesting one. So, like, you could ditch crit stats. You could, I don't know why you would, but you could. I wonder how hard it hits. It's basically a free hit that doesn't crit against them. But it can't weak hit. It can't crit. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It really depends how much damage this does. It is possible this just kills people. It could hit for like 20,000 damage. It could hit for 40,000. Who knows? So potentially, and there's no cooldown either. Potentially, it's you get an enemy below 25% and he finishes them off. This is very strong against Zibia's Servitude relic as well, which is enemies low on life cannot receive crits. Makes them very difficult to kill. He's a pretty good counter to that. If this hits hard, it would also mean increased attack is particularly important for him to make the most of it. That's pretty cool, though. All right, we just have to see how hard it hits. It's hard to know. There's a second passive, full synchronization, puts Perfect Veil on him for 2 turns at the start of each round. Great, that enables all of his skills to work properly. Whenever he's about to receive damage that would exceed 50% of his max HP, 35% chance of decreasing the damage received to 0 instead. Whenever he's attacked, has a 35% chance of counterattacking. Okay, it's like Predator, but worse. It's a funny one. So again, like Predator, he provides Perfect Veil. Now, Predator can sort of awkwardly give himself Perfect Veil with his A3. EZIO has no way to gain Perfect Veil himself, apart from that passive. So in longer fights, you're going to need somebody else to provide it to him, to enable him to keep ignoring resistance. Because otherwise, you're not going to build him with any accuracy. And if he outruns that Perfect Veil, or if it gets buff stripped, He's just not going to be landing any debuffs, and he becomes a pretty mid damage dealer, I would say. He has to be, I mean, getting hit to exceed 50% of your max HP. That will help you in Chimera. He's probably all right in Chimera. Poisons, poison sensitivity, and exploding the poisons. Single target damage, decreased defense A1. Yeah, if you get him a perfect Veil champion in there, like you put him with a Duchess or a Firol or something, he's probably pretty good for Chimera. This passive would help there. It's definitely going to help in Arena, but it's only 35%, right? Like Predator, I think, is a bit better because he's a 50-50 for the first round of the fight to just dodge everything. 35% is going to help you, and it's not limited to the first round of the fight or anything, but it's not quite as good. It's also not an evade. Evade is better. Evade lets you dodge negative effects as well. He only reduces damage, but like if it's a AoE smack that stuns, he's still going to get stunned. So he's not dodging the effects, just the damage, which is still good. But yeah, it's definitely pretty unreliable. And then anytime his attack chance to counterattack, that's pretty solid. His A1 is quite good where he places decreased defense, 100% chance. So against bosses, it's going to be actually pretty consistent. Yeah, not super reliable, but quite possibly reliable enough that he could be your only decreased defense champion, particularly if you do run like an ally attack in the team or something. He could probably be your decreased defense champion, which is interesting. And then speed in all battles, 19%. That's really good. Great. It's a good aura. So that is Ezio. Overall, he looks pretty cool. He's definitely going to be great for new players. I will say a little bit of overlap with Xenomorph, a little bit of counter synergy as well, where Xenomorph puts poisons, Ezio explodes them, which then disables Xenomorph's passive. That's a little bit strange. Yeah, that's a little bit strange. So I'm not sure about that. A little tricky to fit two damage dealers in Xenomorph and Ezio into the same team as well. So I don't know. But yeah, I think he's pretty decent. Does he scream Ezio in Assassin's Creed? I guess so. I think a lot's going to come down to me to the everything is permitted passive, that stuff where he's executing people on low life. You know, like if he's like jumping in with the hidden blade and finishing people off, that's actually super cool. We'll give a good assassin theme. Starting in perfect fail is cool. Hidden gun, yeah, definitely associate that with Ezio. Da Vinci, that's a fun callback to it as well. Yeah, I mean, I think he's pretty cool. He's not totally blowing me out of the water. Like I think as an endgame player, you're probably only going to use this guy as a bomb champion. It's probably the only way. So just build him super high attack for maximum damage on bombs and maximum damage on his passive. He's certainly interesting for that for Siege, but yeah, so I think I will use him. Yeah, and it does mean you have to book him as well. You need to make the bombs 100%. So yeah, he's probably useful end game for Siege, but other than that, no. But I think for an earlier player, very useful, right? Decreased defense spam, big single target damage, AoE poisons, lots of damage there. Good for Arena. Yeah, cool. Speed in all battles aura. Sweet. Okay, so I think that's it for Ezio. So that's the new stuff today. Now, there was stuff yesterday, which I missed. We'll go over that pretty quickly as well. But yeah, similar stuff. So we got the same dates for Assassin's Creed, but now we've got info on the event dungeon. So this guy, it looks like he's not the fusion then. So this is the event dungeon guy. So I was wrong. That's why I missed the video yesterday, right? I was just stupefied. I thought it was going to be the fusion. No, he's the event dungeon boss. So I think like Odin, Queen of Hearts, that sort of thing. Probably going to be a chase. He's a Void Legendary as well. We'll look at his kit in a second. But he's going to be a chase legendary, right? That's up in Prism events, that sort of thing, 15x events. Going to be very difficult to get. Expect him to be very good because of it. We'll see. But yeah, interesting. He's not part of the Assassin's Creed thing, although he is sort of like Pontiff Augustine. He is sort of Pope themed, and he's sacred. He's Knights Revenant. Actually, I was wondering would he be Sacred Order or Knights Revenant, but a bit of a Pope theme. So Assassin's Creed anti-Pope, certainly for the Italian ones anyway. So yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It is a little strange, perhaps, that it's not more tight. I don't know. I think it's fine, but yeah. So that's that. I would expect the fusion then. We're probably going to get news on it in the next couple of days. I think there's going to be like news drops like every day this week, all the days I'm away. So I'll cover those in other videos as well. But I'd expect the fusion is obviously going to be an Assassin's Creed fusion. I don't know. Who do you expect? Which assassin would it be? Let me know in the comments. Okay, who is going to be the fusion? Best guesses. For me, the assassin I probably most want to see actually be Nawe, I'd say, from Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's the most recent one. Yasuke could fit in, and that would be kind of interesting. They could do a bit more of a, he could be Shadowkin. He's just more of a samurai, right? Shadowkin bruiser type character. That could be cool. That'd be fun. Little duo team. I don't know, but I'd be most interested in her. But yeah, I don't know. Who's your favorite assassin? There's like literally so many. So I don't know who's the most iconic. Ezio 100% is the most iconic. I don't know who's be number one after that, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know. But here we go. Let's take a look at this guy. So the event dungeon is back with a new badass, or a brand new badass boss, a non-IP champion, Pontiff Augustin. Though again, I think it ties in reasonably well to the whole assassin theme, at least for the first few. The event dungeon is available during the time-limited event. There's the 30 stages. Each one gets more difficult. The same thing as always before. However, this time there is something new. There are 5 new challenge stages, stage 31 to 35. They don't require energy. They don't provide typical loot. I think you also only fight them once each stage, and then there's no reason to fight them again apart from, having a really fast team or something. Their completion brings you one-time rewards like relic materials, basalt, and gemstones. So pretty fun, some relic stuff. And there's a bunch of relics that are coming in this. We'll look at them quickly here as well. I think this is a great move, right? I think they've struggled a bit with the event dungeon to have it be an interesting challenge to players. Because bearing in mind, this game has been out for 6 years, 7 years. It's pretty old at this point. And you've got players from free-to-play to mid spenders to big spenders. You've got players playing for different lengths of time. It's hard to have an event dungeon that caters to everyone. I think this is quite a good idea where for like your late game players, your end game players, your big spenders, you've got these big challenge stages. But then the regular stages are farmable at a more accessible level for most people. I think it's a pretty good place to have things, to have the content be engaging to everyone. So yeah, let's see. And that is, the event dungeon is running until the 4th of March. So 2 months of event dungeon, basically. Oh, wait. Yeah, sorry, 2 months. I thought to start on the 4th of January. That's passed already. No, it hasn't. Okay, cool. Let's check him out then. So Pontiff Augustin. So he's Void Legendary from the Knights Revenant. They have a lot of Void Legendaries. I mean, a lot of factions do at this point. But yeah, that's cool. Right. So, Edenic Blades. Well, like Blades of Eden, I guess, right? Definitely Assassin's Creed. It definitely feels like he's an Assassin's Creed character who's not Assassin's Creed. That's funny. Attacks one enemy, 75 goes to 100% chance to block active skills for 2 turns and steals 5% of the target's turn meter for each buff on them. Okay, it's fine. Shackle the Unjust, the A2, 5 to a 3-turn cooldown. Removes all buffs from all enemies. 75 to 100% chance of putting Ensnare on all enemies for 2 turns. It ignores block debuffs buffs on enemies under 3 or more buffs. Okay. But it's probably good that there is that condition, right? They have been doing more and more, like, ignores block debuff champions when placing debuffs, like burns and poison and stuff. And, like, that can get, I think, a bit frustrating. It's probably good that it's a bit more conditional, though it does make him weaker. Also, decrease the turn meters of all enemies by 25%. If they're under 3 or more buffs, decreases it by 40% instead. So he really seems like he's, anti-buff, right? His A1 is stealing more turn meter than more buffs. His A2 is ignoring stuff and more powerful when they have more buffs. Ensnare, I think, stops turn meter increase. So 100% Ensnare totally prevents any turn meter increases for those champions. Ethereal Benediction. 6 turn goes to a 4 turn, puts increased accuracy for 2 turns and 1 intercept stack on all allies. Ooh. And fills the turn meter of all allies by 25%, then gives an extra turn. Oh man. So he's very much set up for a pretty big go first team turn. Increased accuracy, intercept, protects from polymorph. If that's important, it also protects from your crowd control stuff being reflected by Wand of Submission. Increase accuracy, and then he goes straight into an AoE buff removal, which will ensnare enemies and potentially push their turn meter back. So yeah, their stone skin could be protected by 50-50 stone skin or by lightning cage, but if he takes it off, ensnare and turn meter pushback, that's a bit rough. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting opener. Okay, cool. Your Eminence, the passive. Allies receive 25% less damage from enemies under, block damage, unkillable, Veil, Perfect Veil, or Stone Skin. Okay. Each time an enemy receives a buff, is healed, or has their turn meter filled, has a 50% chance to decrease the duration of all their buffs by 1 turn. Once per skill, once per target. And then duplicates of this champion don't stack it. 24% speed in all battles aura. That's a really, really good aura. It's like almost top tier for Siege. Like 25% is the best. So this is Mariska level aura. Very strong. Okay. So first up, as a boss in the event dungeon, he doesn't seem that hard to deal with, to be honest. He seems like quite an easy boss. Reminds me a bit of Queen of Hearts, where he doesn't have any damage, right? His A2 is not an attack. His A1 is his only attack. He's got no damage himself. So once you kill off his allies, now I imagine he's going to be in with some pretty nasty teammates. He is Knight's Revenant, so yeah, you could have you're almost definitely going to have the faction Unity in there, who's very, very tanky. You could have Ancora in there as well, who's going to be protecting from crowd control. You could have Mythicals as well, so who knows? Like, there could be a Crixia with him or something, which is really rough. Interesting stuff. But yeah, he seems not so bad himself. Once you kill off, if you can secure some kills on his allies, he himself, he's going to be, cycling through turns, but he's not crowd controlling you per se. Block active skills and snare, sort of soft crowd control. So yeah, he doesn't seem that bad actually, but he really punishes you having buffs, which does suck a little bit. I would say my quick thoughts on how to beat him, my first thought would be probably go with, he doesn't have any buff removal or debuff removal, so decrease accuracy on him. He might outrun it with the extra turn, but decrease accuracy, increase resistance, and just resist all the stuff he's doing. You can resist it. Yeah, he ignores block debuffs, but you can resist all of his stuff. So a high resistance team might actually be really good. Protection set buffs as well. Again, like protection set's just going to stop him removing your buffs. He'll still be able to place ensnare, but you could just remove it too. So yeah, I think it really depends on who's with him. As a champion, it's going to depend on his base stats. Like if this dude has 115 base speed, even just 110, he's pretty decent, right? Build him as a go first champion. There's not that many good go first increase accuracy champions. He'd be sort of like an base form. Good speed aura, turn meter boost, so increased accuracy. He has intercept. She has increased attack. Intercept arguably more valuable. Then he's got buff removal, but he has the extra turn to get into the buff removal. Then her block active skill, she has the AoE, he has a single target. Seems a bit like her. I'm not initially blown away by him. Like, he seems good, but it's tough to judge immediately. Taking less damage from enemies under Stone Skin is cool to survive that initial nuke. We'll see. I do really like that passive. When enemies get buffs, healed, or turn meter boosted, decreasing their buffs by a turn, that is probably actually extremely strong. That is very good, and that could be like a cool anti-Odin type thing, right? Like Odin puts block damage on everybody. He decreases it by a turn, it's gone, right? So that passive might be what makes him real special. Yeah, I have to see him in practice. He seems good. Like, he doesn't strike me as like, holy moly, this bonkers OP. But he seems decent. Doesn't seem like the toughest boss. It's really going to depend who's with him. Right, Chronophage is back as well. I think this is the pre-buff version in the text, so it's going to be a bit better on the actual game from what they said. And then we've got, 8 new event relics. What do we need 8 new relics, so many relics, which is just, I feel like they do too many event relics, to be honest. They really need to start bringing them back, because it's just a bit absurd. You've got so many relics you can't even get. They're not even that good anyway half the time. Let's take a look. So the rares, we have Vigor Mortis. That's funny. I like that. That's a good pun. You do 2% more damage to enemies whose max HP is at least double yours. That goes up to 4 plus 6, so 8% more. It's like a filler damage relic. It's going to depend a bit on the gem slots and the stats, but pretty filler damage, more so for PvE. Fine, nothing special. Sigil of the Akar. Wearer receives, and these are Wings of Winter is the group, so it's not really Assassin's Creed. Like, they're sort of vaguely like, that looks like Egyptian thing, and I don't know. Are there any other? No, not really. These are just sort of generic relics. It's sort of like the turtle ones, right? Where they're not tied into the IP, so they can bring them back whenever they want to. There's no reason really for them to be time limited, but they are. Wearer receives 2% less damage from enemies whose max HP is at least double the wearer's. Okay, again, it goes up to 8%. Filler anti-boss relic again for tanks and surviving supports. It's fine, nothing too special. Howling Guardians, the epic, decrease the damage the most injured ally receives from bosses by 5%. The wearer receives that damage instead. Relic only activates once per team. Oh, that's cool. That's probably something they should do a bit more often in the game. Some once per team stuff. It's quite weighted towards level 5 and 6. It gets stronger the more you upgrade it. So it starts at 5%, then 8, 11, 15, 20, 25. 25% damage reduction. I mean, that's actually pretty cool. That's not bad. Like for Chimera, for trying to keep your damage dealer alive, they take 25% less damage from bosses. It's decent, actually. Put it on your tank. That's cool. That's not a terrible epic relic, though. I do think you're going to have to upgrade it a lot. So most people won't be doing that, right? It's unlikely you have the resources to upgrade this to level 5 and 6, and that you don't have some legendary, maybe a mythical relic that you'd rather upgrade instead. So yeah, it's a general problem with any relic that relies on being a high rank. Until they keep adding more basalt, it's hard to actually use it. Dark Smiles Toast. All right, Commodus, right? The Demon Spawn mythical, I suppose, epic relic. Whenever the wearer's turn meter is filled by a skill, also heals them by 3% max HP once per turn. You get, 3, then it goes 4, 5, 6, 8, and 10. So 10% max HP. Probably a good solo relic, particularly for anyone who's got some sort of turn meter boost A1. Like whatever A1 that steals 10% turn meter, right? Does this dude do it? This guy might do it. He steals a tiny bit of turn meter on his A1. Great. Whenever he does that, he's gonna heal for 10% max HP. This seems very filler, just a golden elixir type thing. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably good for some niche champions who are getting quite a bit of turn meter. Yeah, I'm not sure any off the top of my head. Doesn't seem particularly exciting. Seems like a pretty forgettable relic, to be honest. Okay, Thunderbolt Spear, legendary. The wearer does 10% more damage to enemies under shield. Ooh, it goes up quite a lot. Again, a good chunk of level 6, but it's still good. So it starts at 10, then you get 15, 20. Even at level 3, it's pretty strong. Then 25, 30, and then 40. Wow, 40% bonus damage to enemies under shield. This is like best in slot for White King Narses. It's actually very strong for anyone who ignores shields. That's incredibly useful, actually. I think that's very good. It's going to depend on the stats. But yeah, I think that's a very, very, very nice relic. It will also depend exactly how it interacts. Like, I don't know. It's like they've got a shield for 20k and they've got 100k health. If I hit them for 100k damage, how does it, am I hitting them for 140k and they're dead? Or like, how exactly does it work? Or does it give me a 40% damage boost against the shield, but not against their health? Like, I don't know. So we'll have to test it out to see exactly. But on the face of it, that actually looks quite good. Not a must get, but looks quite good, especially if you're a Narses fan. Oculos Custodian. Cool. Removes all debuffs from the wearer whenever they lose 70% or more HP from in a single turn. The HP requirement, losing 70% HP is a ton. Okay, it goes down -5, -5, -10, -10, -10. So -40, so 30% HP in a single turn. Again, this definitely needs to be really upgraded, which is a pretty big problem. Like, you want to get it down to that losing 30% HP. You got to be hit pretty hard. Seems pretty niche. Like, I don't know about that. There's relatively few bosses that hit you that hard and have a lot of debuffs. In PvP, I mean, if they're hitting you that hard and you're getting all those debuffs, you're probably just dead. I don't know. That's a strong maybe. Let me know what you think about that. I mean, would you rather not just use a Wand of Submission and reflect back 50% of crowd control? I don't know. Maybe. You definitely would keep, obviously with all of these event ones, you definitely keep a copy or two of each one, just in case, right? Diabolical Dice, the mythical. The wearer has a 50% chance, that goes up to 100%, of increasing a random skill's cooldown by 2 turns before attacking a single target, once per turn. You also do 3% more damage for each turn of cooldown remaining on all enemy skills. Oh, wow. Okay. This is actually incredibly, that's really strong. I don't know with relics whether or not they need accuracy. So blessings don't need accuracy, apart from polymorph, which does, but it says it explicitly. There's very few relics that do debuffs. You got there is the one, I don't have it, the one that does fatigue. I think it's a faction relic, the Mind of Markat. Someone who's got Mind of Markat, tell us, do relics need accuracy? I don't know. Probably not. So this is probably, again, even on an AoE, the person that you target with the AoE attack would presumably be the one who has their skills increased. This is probably, though, a very consistent way to increase skills. A very powerful anti-reviver, particularly. But yeah, you can basically get, it's a random skill, but I mean, you could lock out like Hidden Odin with this in the first turn of the fight, and great, you might have locked him out of his A2 and fights way easier. Hit a reviver, this could be incredibly strong. Also a pretty strong damage boost, so 3% per each turn. I mean, let's say there's 4 enemies in arena. They each have a skill with 3 turns of the cooldown on it. So that's 3 times 4, so 12 times 3, 36% damage just from that. Like, this is potentially a huge damage boost, actually. Not for the first turn of the fight, but for the medium, after the first turn, pretty strong. Synergizes very well with lockout champions. So put this on a damage dealer who's running with a Fabian. Very strong. The effect is very strong. I think that's incredibly strong. That's my thoughts. We'll see what the stats are, but looks like a crazy good damage dealer relic. And then the Tower Helm, the final one. Wearer receives a Fortify buff for 2 turns at the start of the round. Ignore defense effects used against the wearer are 10% less effective when the wearer's HP is less than 50. Okay, the ignore defense reduction goes up 10, 20, 30, 40, so up to 50% less effect from ignore defense. So it basically gives you Harima's passive when you're below 50% HP. That is strong. You need to be very tanky to still survive. This reminds me a lot of the I mentioned it already as the thing that Ezio could be good against, the Zibia's Servitude. Reminds me a lot of that. Zibia's Servitude is not a particularly good mythical relic. You have to be so tanky to use it. It's quite difficult to be that tanky. Very few champions can do it. This one, because it gives you Fortify at the start of the fight, is a bit stronger. That being said, they can just buff remove the Fortify. So you kind of need it to be on a high resistance, very high resist, very high HP, and then it's strong. There's not a ton of champions like that. But it would be good on them, right? Fortify to survive at the start, and then when you drop low in life, you're good. So it could be good on some people. You know, maybe it's pretty good on like a Donatello. If this has resistance main stat, it could be quite nice. Well, we'll see. Again, I don't think that's particularly insane. I think the Diabolical Dice looks way better. That's the big chase one, I would say. Tower Helm is like, okay, it's a decent tanky one. We'll see in practice. Probably good, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And I think that's it. Yeah, so that's it, guys. That is all the info for this deck. We've got Ezio, we've got 8 relics, we've got the event stuff. Quite a lot of stuff. I'm pretty excited for Assassin's Creed. Let me know what you think in the comments. Who do you think would be the fusion? Who would be the best choice for the fusion? I'm guessing we'll get news on that maybe today or tomorrow as well. Like, it's probably going to come in pretty soon because this starts on the 8th and it's the 6th today, isn't it? I think. I don't know. I've lost track. But yeah, something like that. Guys, thanks for watching. Give me your thoughts. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.